In this video, let's have a look at scriptable object. So let us first of all understand the definition that what is scriptable object, as you can see on the screen. So scriptable object is like a data container that we can use to save large amount of data while making our project. So let's say you are working on a very large project. So scriptable objects are like the data containers in which you can put your data and you can use that data on your game objects or any other objects that you want to use in the scene, and you can just pick up the value of the data from these scriptable objects. The use cases, as you can see, is they are used to avoid the project's memory usage by avoiding copies of value. So yeah, the same thing. Like we can avoid the we can save the memory by the usage of these scriptable object. Okay, and scriptable objects are pretty much similar to mono behavior scripts. Like they are derived from the base unity object, but these scriptable objects are not attached on the game objects. Like they cannot be attached on the game objects. They can only be in your project hierarchy. Okay, so let us see this through an example. Now let's have a look at example project that I have set up in the Unity. And this is a very basic project. It is just containing one canvas component. And inside the canvas component, we have a panel which is containing two images. And those two images have their respective text component. So what are we going to do here is we will be changing the color of these two images, and that color we will be fetching from the data that is being represented in the form of scriptable object. Okay, so in order to understand the working of this, what I'm going to do is I'm first of all going to go to my project window, and I will be creating a script, and inside that script I will be storing uh, the data values, which will store that what data I want to set for each component. So in the script here, I'm going to click on create, and I'm going to click on a C# script, and let's just call it scriptable object manager. Let it compile, and then we will open it in the Visual Studio. So once the Visual Studio is opened up, you can see that right now my scriptable object manager is being derived from the mono behavior class. So whenever you want to create the script for your scriptable objects, instead of deriving it from a mono behavior, you need to derive it from the scriptable object class. So if I just type it here, you can see that scriptable object. Now this script will not be able, you cannot be able to attach it with any of the game object. This script will now just serve as the data, like you will just define your data in this script. So I'm just gonna uh, backspace these methods, and then let's just create the fields for the data that we require. So I need to store the values of different colors for different objects, and also I want to display some text on the components that I have created. So first of all, I'm just going to create a new color. Let's say for the color, I'm going to use color, and let's just call it image color. And then you can display some string values which you can store here. So let's just create some public string, and let's just call it image text, and then you can save it. When you go back to your Unity editor, the script will compile, and you can see that nothing much has changed here right now. So in order to display that data, and in order to retrieve that data and use it somewhere in the project, you need to create a scriptable object in your project. And in order to create a scriptable object, you need to first of all go back to your script, and you need to use an attribute, and that attribute is basically called create asset menu. Now, if I open the brackets of this attribute, you can see that it is asking for a file name and it is asking for a menu name. So I can define those two. So file name, I can just call the file name to colors. And let's say menu name will be color palette. And save it again. And go back to Unity editor. Now, Once you have added the attribute, now you will be able to create a scriptable object in your project. Now, in order to create that, I have already created a folder in my scripts folder. And if you right click on this and go to create, you can see that the color palette is being displayed here. I can click on it and a new scriptable object has been added. Now I can give it a name. Let's just call it red image. This will be for my red image. And I'll create another one and this will be for my green image. So the second one will be of green color. Now I can define values here. So for the image color, I'll choose a bit greenish color and change the value of alpha. And here I can just write something like, let's say green. Then I'll go to red image and I can change the color to something red, change the alpha. And for the text, I will display red here. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the scriptable objects. Now what we need to do is we need to get these data values and then display those values on these two components. So for that, I can create another script that I will have here. So let's just go to my scripts again and I'll create a new folder. Not a folder, let's just directly get a script here only and let's just call it uh, image manager. Now, this script will be responsible for these two game objects. So I will just attach this script to these two game objects because this is a mono behavior. So I can easily attach it on both of these components. So if I just drag and drop it. So here it is. Now I can open it and here is the image manager. And I'll just clear out the default methods here. Now, in order to fetch the values that we have declared in the scriptable object manager script, I need to create a reference of that script here in this script. So let's just call it public scriptable object manager, and let's just call it whatever you like. So you can give it a name. And then we can go to inspector and we can drag and drop the reference of the script from there. So let me just quickly open it. So if I go here, you can see that right now it is asking me for the reference here. So this is for the image one and I will drag the red image reference here. And in the second one, I will be I'll drag and drop the green one here. Now it is very easy to change the colors of these two images. So what I need to do is on this image one, I need to get the access of this image component. I need to change the color value here, right? So for that, what simply I can do is I can just go to back in the script and here I can create a new field for the, let's say for the image that I want to get and I need to change the color of that. So let's just call it public image. Now, in order to access the image, I need to use a namespace here. So using Unity engine dot UI. Now I will be able to access this image. So image, and let's just call it IMG. So we have created a field for the image. And if you go back to your Unity editor, you will see here that, let me just save it first. And once it is saved, you can see that it is asking for the image here. So I can just drag and drop this component here. And in this one also, I can just drag and drop the image here. So now I have basically have the access to the image. Now what I need to do is I just need to say that whatever the value of the image color is here, I need to set it to the value of this image equal to that. So let's say in the start only, I can set that. So what I need to do is I need to first of all get that value from the scriptable object so that I can get by SO manager. uh, dot image color. So basically, I need to put it equal like this. Like I need to say that img dot color will be equal to that color that I have stored in my scriptable object manager. There it is. Now, if I go back to my Unity editor and if I play the game now, you can see that the colors of the images have been changed. And very simply, I can go back again to the red image. And if I want to say, let's have a different shade of red. So let's just make it a bit darker. And then if I play it again, you can see that the color value has changed now. In the similar way, I can basically get the access of this text component also, and I can basically set the uh, the text to whatever the text that we have added in the string parameter.